and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. This is part 4 of my Beach Guitarist series, and in this video we're going to continue working on the figure and the guitar. The app that I'm using is Sketchable for Windows, and it's made mainly for Windows tablets and Windows touchscreens. And if you want to follow along with traditional materials, check out part 1 in this series where I have a discussion of the types of materials that would work well with this painting. So I'm going to continue working on her dress, and right here I'm sort of smoothing out the wrinkles now and trying to get kind of a filmy looking material look, because her dress is sort of a transparent, filmy looking material. So I'm trying to get that, and I'm using all different colors of blue, sort of kind of a light shades of blue and dark shades of blue. The wrinkles I'm using dark shades, and you can probably use sort of an ultramarine blue if you're following along traditionally. Maybe mix a little bit of burnt sienna in it to darken it, and just kind of use a darker blue with your pastel pencils if you want to go ahead and make this a pastel painting. And you just kind of keep working back and forth on these wrinkles and just kind of trying to get a little bit of a pleated look at the bottom on the edge of her skirt there. And just kind of work on the edges and sort of make it look a little bit unfinished, because you kind of want to give it, you don't want big details, because the more unfinished look will give it, number one, a painterly look, but it'll also kind of give the material a textured look when you do it that way. And I'm using the paintbrush category for this, and then just kind of going back and smudging the wrinkles and just trying to kind of smooth them out a little bit here. And then I'm working on the design of her skirt a little bit. It's got some diamonds kind of on the bottom of the skirt there, and I just kind of want to give an idea of that texture and that design. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we just kind of want to give an indication, and I'm kind of smudging it out a little bit so that it will look like it's part of the dress and not just stuck on there. And I'm just kind of going through and trying to figure out what brush would work the best for this, and the pastel category has several that you can look through and see if you can get a textured look with it. And then I just kind of want to show the edge of the design here with a little bit of a really light blue. It's not white, but it's a really light blue. And it's all relative the way you use your colors. And you can make something look white even though it's not pure white if you put it next to a darker color. And so that's kind of what I'm doing there, because we don't want it pure white because it's still in the shadows there. And then here I just want to go ahead and sort of start working on the guitar a little bit and her hand, and just trying to refine some of this. And one of the ways you can work on the guitar is to sort of adjust the shape of the dress and kind of work on the edges that way, and also with the hand. And the way you work on the hand is that you can add dark around it so that helps this fix the shape of the hand there. And so I'm using kind of an almost black color to work on the hand. And then I wanted to work a little bit more on the other arm, and so I'm adding a darker flesh color. And I've used sort of a dark brown, reddish brown, and you can use a mixture of reds and greens if you're following along traditionally, and some burnt sienna. Throw in some blues here to represent the shadows. And again, on this arm, we don't want it all one solid color either. We kind of want some browns and some lighter flesh color and some peach colors, and we want a little bit of blues because the blue is the reflected light that's coming off of the beach and off of her skirt. And then I'm just sort of working on the background behind her a little bit, and I'm adding a little bit of orange to the water to make it look like the sunlight is sort of shining off of the water there, and the sunset is reflecting on it, and also on the beach edge, just to show that it looks like it's wet sand behind her there. And you can just go ahead and sort of make the shape of the guitar neck using the beach color and kind of refining it out there. And this is kind of working with negative space is what it would sort of be called. And I'm doing the same thing with the fingers here, and the fingers are kind of tricky here because she's got them bent and she's strumming the guitar, so the fingers are not straight. They're sort of bent and sort of cupped like she's holding a pick or just kind of strumming the strings of the guitar there. And so I'm just kind of adding some of the guitar color between her fingers to make it look like they're a little bit spread out. And also I'm adding some of the black for her forefinger and her thumb to try to get the shape of that. And the black is for the guitar hole there. And then some of the brown is on the other fingers because they're not quite over the guitar hole. They'll be more over the regular body of the guitar. And you can just use the colors of the guitar to kind of shape her arm and her wrist there. And so then I want to kind of work on the neck of the guitar and get it a darker color. I'm fixing to add a darker color for it because it's either black or it's a dark red color. But the guitar hole is probably black because it would be the inside of the guitar. And so I'm just kind of working a little bit more on that and adding a little bit of dark brown to show her knuckles on her fingers there, and just kind of show that the hand is bent, the fingers are bent there, and just kind of trying to get that look. And it's just kind of work in progress. You just have to keep working on it till you finally get the shape that you want. And here I'm using the guide for the straight line for the guitar neck. And if you're following along traditionally, a ruler works well, or a T-square. A T-square kind of works best sometimes because then you can line it up with the edge of your canvas. But if you have to do something at an angle, then maybe just a plain old ruler will work. And you can stretch this guide out. It has 3 points and you can stretch them out. You can move it up and down, and then you can stretch the line as far as you like on that guide there. And so I'm using kind of a dark brown for the guitar neck here. And you can use a burnt umber color if you want to, or burnt sienna if you're following along with your acrylics, and just kind of you just want kind of a really dark brown. And so I'm just kind of trying to get the neck straight here, and one of the things that I'm doing is using the background color of the beach to sort of straighten out the guitar neck, and also straighten out the look of her thumb on the other side. You can't see it very much, but her thumb is on the other side of the guitar neck. And the neck will also taper a little bit towards the end of the guitar. And so I'm trying to kind of get that tapered look where it's wider when it's on the body of the guitar, and then as it gets towards the end of the handle there, it starts to get a little bit thinner. And so I'm trying to get that straightened out using the guide. And the guide is helpful because then you can kind of keep it as a straight line, and you can sort of cover up the the edge a little bit, make it thinner by using the guide. And so I'm doing that a little bit and using probably yellow ochre for the beach sand. And then I wanted to finish out the end of the guitar here and just kind of make the right shape on the end of the neck. And you just kind of have to work at it and try to make sure that you keep it straight, or fairly straight anyway, enough to make it look accurate for the picture. And so I'm just working on the rounded end here, and it's got a little bit of a point that sticks up, so I was trying to kind of get that without making everything look uneven. I was trying to keep it sort of even there. And things like guitars and buildings and things that have structure, they're kind of tricky, and you have to try to get those right, because otherwise it'll look like it's bent or crooked. So that straight line guide was really quite a lot of help. And then here I'm just kind of working on her fingers and putting some fingernail polish on, adding her bracelet and her charm. I probably won't add a whole lot more detail to that. I just kind of want to give an indication of a bracelet, and that she has a bracelet on and a charm that dangles down off of it. And I think it's a heart. It may be a diamond, but I just went ahead and kind of made it a little bit of a heart shape. And I just keep working on the edge of the guitar, and here I'm covering up a little bit of the lines that are on the beach, just trying to kind of smooth that out and get it where it looks like beach sand behind her. And it doesn't matter too much if you don't get all the lines, as long as you just kind of smudge them out, because we want some shadows in the beach sand. And I'm working on the shape of the fingers again. Like I said, that's a work in progress. You just have to keep going back and forth. If you get tired of it, or you think that you can't get it and it's just not working, then go to another part of the painting and work on it. Come back to it later. Step back from the painting and look at it and see what it looks like. You just kind of have to do little tricks to keep yourself from getting so jaded, I guess. Jaded is probably not the right word, but you do little tricks so that you can get a fresh view. And you might even want to flip the canvas sometimes. That helps too. Or put it upside down. Just something that helps you get a fresh view of it and gets rid of the preconceived notions that you have about it. And here I'm just kind of working on the beach and the sea a little bit, smoothing all that out a little, adding a little bit of ripples to the waves, adding some darker brown to the sand, just trying to work on the background here a little bit, because we're finally getting to the stage where we can add the final details. So I'm trying to get the painting kind of cleaned up here and getting rid of all the lines in the sky and the clouds, just trying to smooth those out and just getting ready to add the final details. So this is the end of part 4 of my Beach Guitarist series. And in part 5, we're going to start adding more details to the guitar and trying to add some of the final refinements. So if you're interested in seeing the next series, then just hit the subscribe button. And thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.